Temperatures are cooling across Europe, setting the continent in a race against time. Utilities are rushing to forge new long-term gas delivery contracts and build critical infrastructure now that Russia has slashed pipeline exports to the EU. Germany, like many of its neighbors, is turning to shipments of liquefied natural gas, or LNG, to fill much of the need. On Tuesday, its efforts took another step forward.
Construction on a new 40-kilometer pipeline is set to begin at this facility in Lubmin. This pipeline will be in the middle of the Baltic Sea. It's a key piece of infrastructure to get LNG off of ships via a future terminal and sent to the rest of Germany. Lubmin will be Germany's second LNG terminal. Its first is in Wilhelmshaven. It's anticipated to go online this winter. The project will open the doors for liquefied natural gas to be delivered through existing networks. Germany's Climate and Economy Minister Robert Habeck toured the site, which is expected to start delivering about 4.5 billion cubic meters of gas per year starting in 2023. The aim is to get gas elsewhere and then to import it into the country. This import is what is Germany's biggest problem. As mentioned, we have the possibility to buy gas, but we don't have the infrastructure to import it. Apart from Lubmin and Nord Stream 1, we are working at high pressure to create this infrastructure so that we can import this gas. Finding new sources of gas is critical to the German economy. That's because there's currently no gas flowing through the Nord Stream 1 pipeline, which once carried 59 billion cubic meters of gas to Europe each year. If everything works well, and if Germany can manage to live frugally, and if we are lucky with the weather, we have the chance to get through winter. Something I would not have said just a few months ago. We have a chance. Chancellor Olaf Scholz is expected to sign contracts for liquefied natural gas during his visit to the United Arab Emirates this weekend.
Heiko Lohmann is with the Energy Information Service, Energate. He focuses on natural gas. Heiko, thanks for coming on to the show. I want to begin today with the news that German gas reserves have reached more than 90% full. How important is that milestone for getting this country through the winter?
Yeah, it's of course important that we have enough gas in the storage, but of course it's not the whole story. It makes it a bit more confident that we can weather, in particular times of cold weather. But nevertheless, we need, it will be important to have first LNG from the beginning of next year, and it will be important that we save gas over the winter, in particular when it becomes a colder one.
Okay, we just heard a little bit about this LNG terminal construction beginning on the Baltic Sea. But are utilities here any closer to signing deals for regular LNG deliveries? Right now, they've just been buying on the spot market.
Yeah, I think that's of course a bit the critical issue. There have been some medium-term contracts, smaller contracts that had recently been signed. Uniper signed a contract, RWE signed a contract. That means a bit is going on, but what will be happening over the winter, that what the companies are promising that they will deliver gas from their existing portfolio. And I'm to be honest, I'm a little bit scared that was partly will happen, that they will shift simply deliveries from terminals in Belgium and Netherlands to the German terminal. That will not help really Europe in the balance.
Utilities in Germany are in negotiations with Qatar, for example, about LNG deliveries. Is any deal likely to be in Germany's favor if Qatar has been insisting on long-term agreements? I think 25 years has been the talk, at least at the beginning.
Yeah, I think that's one of crucial issues. It's for German utilities, duration of 20 to 25 years will be hard to swallow, because basically Germany will phase out natural gas, and that does not really fit with these long-term contracts. We really have to see how this will, at the end of the day, how that will be balanced. And perhaps one word to Mr. Scholz, who is going now to the United Arabs and to Saudi Arabia and Qatar this weekend. At the end of the day, that is what as you said, the utilities have to sign contracts. I think politics may support, but will not, at the end of the day, sign contracts.
It's also been said that, of course, energy savings will play a major role in getting the country through the winter. From your perspective, are households and businesses poised to cut back enough in the amount needed for this winter?
Again, it depends on the weather. I think what you see already is some decent reduction in industrial demand. Part is simply demand destruction due to the weak economy. Part is switching to other fuels. Households, it's a bit difficult to see, but in principle, the very, very high prices should give incentives to save gas for households. And whether it will be enough or not will be seen at the end of the winter.
All right, Heiko Lohmann focuses on natural gas for the information service Energate. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Well, let's discuss Germany's approach to its gas crisis further. We're joined by McLean. She's an analyst in the natural gas market at Rystad Energy. Thanks a lot for being with us, Emily. How do you assess the pace of Germany's shift to LNG? Because things seem to be moving quite fast.
Yes, you're correct. They are moving fast, and Germany is really at the center of the race, or at the front of the race, if you will. Really, since the beginning of the Russian invasion, we've seen more than 20 new LNG import terminals being proposed. That's in Europe. Of that, almost a third of those projects are in Germany, so about 31%. Now with the Wilhelmshaven FSRU, that's about 7.5 million tons. That project's still under construction, but its first FSRU is on track to start later this year, and that'll add, incremental capacity to Germany.
Yeah, and the key thing there is that it can come in the winter at least, if not to help with the winter itself. So how far can LNG actually go towards fulfilling Germany's natural gas shortfall? Because LNG has to be transported obviously by boat. It can't be sent, by the billion barrels down a pipeline. So can Germany rely on LNG as an alternative?
So to answer that question, yes, absolutely Germany can rely on LNG, and it will have to. The country will have to going forward, not just this year, but in the coming years. I would say you'd have to start with looking back at last year, looking back at this year, and really just seeing how Germany has imported its gas in the past. So this past year in 2021, we were looking at around 50 BCM of piped gas. Now that's not including LNG, and that's really made up about 50% of Germany's gas imports. Of that, about 12 to 13% are coming from Russia piped gas alone. So Germany's still bringing in piped gas from the non-Russian sources. Those are holding steady. But what we've really seen in terms of the changes in the landscape and imports this year is that additional LNG imports that have really been a requirement to meet demand needs this year. But to your question, even with LNG imports and with the steady flows of non-Russian gas imports, really the country can't reach the level that would completely offset Russian gas. They have managed to reach very high storage levels now, so roughly 89% as of last week. And they may also reach their November storage target of 95% ahead of schedule. And that's all because of LNG.
OK, Emily McLean from Rystad Energy, thank you very much for bringing us your insights here on DW Business.
Thank you so much.